Hey, Gary.
Hello, I'm just observing because my computer's not where my kitchen is.
Oh,
Hi.
Gary.
I'm sorry that you didn't put the prayer in. Maybe some people don't know the prayer. You might want to
Oh, yeah.
let them know.
Please help my follow my rise. Oh, yeah, yeah, no.
So my cousin from Israel is visiting.
Oh,
And
nice.
on Friday, I made the first batch of challah. And so both loaves, the one they ate and the one that is going to be our end result, they've already been blessed. So we're in good shape.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Oh.
Now, are you using the quick yeast?
Yeah. So I use the active.
Can you use self-rising dough to make the challah?
No.
I'm
I
just
would.
saying.
I would.
Why not? I mean,
Self-rising dough has baking powder and baking soda. It does not have yeast.
right. I know.
It won't
Okay.
rise the same way.
It doesn't rise. Okay.
Do I hear Gary Statsky? I do. Hello, Gary.
Yes, you do.
Oh,
So that's
Did
the
you
reason.
find your eggs, Arlene?
I did find my eggs. They were still near the front door.
That's good.
It figures.
Speaking of
Hi, Jay.
Welcome, Reuben family.
Hi,
Hello.
Rubens.
Hello.
Hello.
Now this will be interesting.
All right. So this will be fun. Okay. So the reason I always suggest rubber gloves is because it is the easiest cleanup in the world. So this is my bowl. This is my go-to bowl for everything. I got it at Bed Bath & Beyond, and I use it for everything. I think they have 4, 5, and 6 gallon.
Oh, they're nice bowls.
Yeah.
Mine's a
And
birthday bowl.
Okay.
They're great. I love them.
yeah,
So you use
I
a.
use this for everything.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Did somebody say something? I missed it. All right, so I guess we could get started. So Arlene, I know you got a head start on us, but what I like to do is, so on the bowl, we just take your packet of yeast. Right here. And we're gonna open it up and pour it in. Again, if you're using the jar, it's gonna be 2 1/4 teaspoons. And then, so one of the things you're going to add, I put there 1/4 cup. I usually do like a 1/2 cup of warm tap water. The reason I say warm is I have learned by trial and error that in the past, I used to use hot water and my dough wasn't rising. And that is because I was basically like burning I was cooking the yeast and it wasn't active anymore.
Maybe I should just throw this first part out and do it again. 'Cause it really.
Let's do it again. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll wait for you. Go ahead.
All right, thanks.
So that was a kind of an interesting lesson. A lot of thrown out dough from that. So you don't want it too hot, but you definitely want it warm enough. Like when you touch it, if it's, warm, then it's fine. It's not going to be boiling hot. So I put my yeast in the pan, in the bowl, and I'm just going to go to the tap and get some 1/2 cup of warm water.
1/2 cup warm water. 1 pack of yeast.
1/2 cup of warm water.
Got it.
I put a 1/4 cup in too, so that was wrong, I guess.
Yeah, so I just find a 1/4 cup is hard to mix all the yeast in. So you're going to end up adding more water anyway. So I just use a 1/2 cup instead of 1/4 cup.
Okay.
Always put it on a level surface. And then you like this. So you cut for me. I think that's.
My water's taking a little bit to warm up, so bear with me. Sorry.
Hey, Flossie, see, she understands that.
And it should bubble.
Hey.
Do you stir it?
So what I do is you're gonna take the half a cup of warm water, you're gonna pour it in, and then you're gonna take a teaspoon of sugar and mix that in.
Can you use sweetener or no? I'm
No.
serious.
Yep,
You can use like. a
Does that
sponge also?
activate the,
yep. So then I'm a whisk person, so I take a whisk and I'm just gonna mix it together.
Mhm.
Yeah, let me make it. Yeah.
I thought you needed the sugar to activate it.
You
You
did.
don't?
Yeah, but she's asking if you could use a different sweetener,
Oh,
like a non-sugar sweetener.
Yeah, I'm just asking, yeah.
There's also like, I know some of the diets have their own sugar substitute.
Yeah.
I have used
I
that
might not have
before.
added the sugar.
Yeah. So while that's sitting, and you just want to let it sit for a few minutes until you start seeing it bubble and all that good stuff.
Stir that, right, to dissolve it?
Then you'll see it bubble, you'll see it get like a coating over the top, but you just want to give it a couple minutes on that. So in the meantime, I'm gonna, like the doctor says, I'll put my rubber gloves on.
Okay. good.
I do this because I'm a fan of mixing all the dough with my hands.
Yep.
'Cause that's just how I cook. So our next step, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add, once this is set, we're gonna do our eggs. So I guess I'm gonna turn this so you can see what I'm doing.
Put out the eggs.
Thank you.
You don't need to see me. You just need to see the eggs. So. So what I'm gonna do is I'm getting 2 bowls. One is gonna be for your egg whites and the other is gonna be for your egg yolk. Right? Because
Egg yolk.
you saw on the recipe that I had both, right? So we're gonna do 1 whole egg, right?
Could you use one whole egg?
And then we're gonna start doing the egg whites.
Oh, maybe I should say.
So we're gonna separate the eggs,
Either bowl.
okay?
Just one
So
of
in the other bowl, we're gonna do the egg white, because that's gonna be our wash. And then the yolks you can put in. Is that making sense?
yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so you're gonna do that with all 4 eggs, 1 whole egg, and then the other 3 are just egg yolks.
Okay.
Okay. And reserve
Okay.
the whites.
You actually need,
And
I
you're reserving
promise-
the whites. And you're reserving the
Promise
whites.
you will not need all this egg white. It's a
I did that
lot of
already.
egg white.
Can you use the egg beaters for that?
You
yes,
can.
you're gonna separate egg yolks and egg whites.
You absolutely can.
Hi, Giselle.
Hi.
Here, so
Hello,
now
hello.
we have our eggs and our egg whites. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Let's get rid of this.
Oh, you put all the eggs in the yolk in.
I put 1 full egg and 3 yolks.
Oh, okay, I didn't know what to do with the yolk. Okay.
And then the whites go in the separate bowl. This is gonna be for your wash.
Welcome to Cooking with Papa.
Right, can,
I don't-
Iris, can you mute?
Sure. But we have a question.
Yes,
So we thought you were separating 1 large egg out, egg and egg yolk, and then 3 egg yolks, but we saw that you had 4 there, so
so I do 1 full egg in the bowl.
yes.
Hi.
Hi,
1 full egg in the bowl, and then I do 3 egg yolks.
got it. Okay, we're on it.
Total of 4 egg yolks in 1 bowl, and all the white is in the separate.
Got it.
That's gonna
Okay,
be your wash.
all right, that's fine, and I'll mute myself now, Steph.
Yeah, no worries. You're good. Okay, so everybody check their yeast and see what it looks like. I'm gonna pick this thing up. Tell me if you can see. Can you see it?
Yeah, I
Anybody?
guess mine's doing it a little bit, but still not.
There.
They're definitely fresh, I looked.
Okay, so you should see a little bit of bubbles.
Couple.
Okay. You need to, you'll see a little bit of bubbles and you'll see almost like a milky coating over the top. That's how you know the yeast is going to be good. So you don't have to wait for it to do anything. You just need to know that it's active and it's going to work for you.
Okay.
So at that point, right now, so then we can start adding the other ingredients into it. Okay? Bear with me 1 second. Okay, so now we're going to start adding the eggs. Here, I'm gonna back again. Is that okay?
What are you
So
cooking right
we're
now?
gonna add the eggs.
That was the
I'm
egg.
gonna add just the eggs. We're gonna get more of the water. Where we need a total of-
Hey, Robin, you did something to your mic. It's hard to hear you.
Yeah,
all
we
of a
can't
sudden.
hear it. We can't hear you. It's muffled. It's muffled.
Again,
It's really,
is it better
Yes.
now or no?
Yeah,
oh,
now
that's
it's
so
better.
far better.
Okay.
That's better.
Oh, okay. It may have been the microwave. Sorry, she was just using that. So remember it had the recipe called for 1/4 cup and then 1 1/4 cups of lukewarm water. Remember on the recipe?
Yep.
So I put in 1/2 cup. So we need now a full cup of lukewarm water to add. Okay. So we wanna do that to this mixture, to the yeast. But I just added the eggs in, and then we're gonna add some honey in as well.
Oh, I never did that. That's great.
My son makes his challah almost every week.
So here, this is lukewarm, a cup of water. So what happens is you could add, a lot of recipes call for sugar. I like using honey because it's just as sweet, but I think challah deserves to be honey instead of a lot of sugar.
Good.
So that's how I like to make it.
Is this your recipe or was it passed down?
It's not my recipe. I just kind of recreated it on paper for you guys, but this is the one I like the best. I've tried a lot of different recipes.
How much honey?
So we're gonna do 1/3 cup of honey.
Right.
Wow.
Yep. So instead of sugar, normally you would use like, at least a cup of sugar, if not more, sometimes like 3 cups of sugar for some recipes.
If you put it in the microwave, it'll,
Yeah, this one I thought was, like I said, I'm not at home, so I'm using what's here. I need to, hold on 1 second.
That's what's great about Zoom. You can be anywhere and as soon as you got internet, you're connected.
Yeah, exactly.
hey, I'm in Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a heck of a connection. We're one end to the other.
Now we just need to send you the bread though.
I hope.
Robin,
I mean, I was counting on it.
how much sugar did you use when you were proofing?
I only used 1 teaspoon,
Thank you.
1 teaspoon of sugar to proof it.
We kind of just jumped right in, but if you don't know me, I'm Stephanie Feynman, and I'm welcoming you officially to our first Cooking with Hi. And Robin Pottorf, in case you didn't realize, she is our hostess with the mostest, with teaching us all how to make challah. And I'm great to see a lot of new faces and some old faces, old friends. So just
Old faces.
That's right. Old faces.
I remember that remark.
Yeah.
there's new friends and old friends, and one is silver and the other's gold. Remember Girl Scouts?
That's a Girl Scout though.
Sure, Steph, try and cover it up now.
It's meant as a compliment. It was not meant as a insult.
Only kidding.
My mother was a Girl Scout leader and I was a Girl Scout for 9 years. Do you know how many times we sang that in the car? And whenever my mother would, I'd say something about somebody, I wasn't sure I liked that person. She would
If you
start
can't
singing
say something nice about someone, don't say anything at all. That's what I was always taught.
that.
I was very quiet.
So I assume this has to be.
The restaurant in Boca, Abe's, has on their wall, if you
Yes.
don't have something nice to say about someone, say it in Jewish.
Yeah, that's it.
Did you already put the canola oil too?
I don't know Jewish. So
No, all we're doing is honey so far.
Okay.
You add it and then you.
Oh, I see.
And the honey.
Got it,
You want to
got
add
it.
the honey? Why don't you add the honey?
Okay, so does anyone have any questions so far? So I want to get ahead. So here's what I did. I have the honey. 1/3 cup of honey that we're gonna add in.
Mm.
does that translate the same as sugar?
I actually use a different percentage for sugar, but I've actually never tried. I have a different recipe that I use sugar. The
But I mean, if I was using sugar, would it be the same 1/3 cup?
I'm not sure about that, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Salt.
I think it'd be probably like a cup, right? Be more than a third.
I would think it would be at least a cup of sugar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Just because, I mean, honey is sweet, but it's also like a thickener.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
So we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of oil.
2 tablespoons of oil.
I use canola oil. You can use whatever oil you like to use. I have actually, in a pinch, used olive oil, which is a very odd thing to use, but it was all I had. So that's what I used.
Could you tell the difference?
No, I couldn't, and I don't think anybody else did either.
Mhm.
So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add a little bit of salt, just like 2 teaspoons of salt. So just, and that's also, it's not a science when it comes to the salt. So if you don't want salt, that's up to you. If you like a little more, that's also up to you.
How about Himalayan salt?
2 teaspoons.
What'd you say?
How about Himalayan pink salt?
That's
Yeah,
too grainy.
I've used that too. It doesn't break down as quickly,
Okay.
but it would
You said
probably be,
kosher salt, right?
it would, same thing with kosher. I think it would be nice and crispy, that like it would be nice and salty in there. So again, I'm a whisk fan. So all my wet ingredients before I add my honey, before I add my flour, I'm gonna whisk it. So here's all my ingredients. And I like to make sure the honey doesn't sit on the bottom.
Here it is, teaspoon. 2 teaspoons of salt.
Can I see what your dough looks like, if you don't mind?
I'm sorry?
I just look at what you have in there, if you can tip it.
Yep,
All
can you
right,
see
well,
that?
yours looks the same. I'm just saying mine doesn't look like it's gonna
Yeah,
rise.
it's pretty watery, and that's okay, because we're gonna add about 4 to 5 cups of flour. But you wanna make sure everything is broken down before you add the flour.
Okay.
So everything should be mixed really well. Your flour should be, your honey should be nice and meld. And then we're gonna start with the flour. So does anyone have questions so far? Here's what it looks like. And then we're gonna take our cup and start
Okay.
little by little, we're gonna mix in some flour. So what I would say is you don't wanna do it all at once. So maybe add like 2 or 3
I'm gonna
cups
put a little extra love in
before
this.
you start mixing it. Again, with the flour, you can add whatever flour you want. I use the bread flour
Oh, well, you'll get a
Oh.
few days out of them then.
because I like that. So from there, I'm going to, I wish you could see on top of me, but
You're so welcome, and thanks for telling me. Okay,
So,
bye-bye.
so what I do is I start mixing it in. And as you're mixing the flour in, it's going to start to thicken, but it's going to be gooey, right? So I only added 3 cups. And you'll see here how gooey it is. You see that?
Yep.
So we're going to add a little bit more. That's how you know, like if you kind of experiment with what works. I have found that it's probably close to 5 cups of flour for me that work. But I use my spatula just to mix a lot of the wet stuff until it gets a little better consistency. So at this point, I'm going to do away with that. I'm going to get in there. So I'm going to show you what I have. It's still pretty thick. See, it's sticking to my gloves. You can see there's a good bit of flour, but there are some spots that are still a little mushy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit more. So I'm going to add like a 1/2 cup and see how that works for me.
How much have you put in so far?
I put in 4 and this is my 1/2 cup.
4.5. Okay, because I put in none yet. I'm still trying to spill water too far.
Hey,
Well, so-
Robin,
Yeah,
does it matter what kind of flour you use? Are you using bread flour there or?
it doesn't. I just happen to buy, I make this a lot. So I buy bread flour in bulk. But you can use regular flour. That's how I've always started out with, which is just as fine. I've never tried it with like whole wheat flour. So I don't know how that would work because it's a little bit of a different consistency. But I'll show you. So you want to mix it really good. And I'm going to take it out of the bowl just so you can see it. Let me move up my stuff. So I'm going to take it out. Can you guys see this?
Yep.
Okay, so I took it out of the bowl because I want you to see, you want to make sure everything, see there's a little piece of honey here. You don't want something crunchy. So this is actually a pretty good consistency for the dough. It's not super dry, but it's not really wet and gooey either. And you want to just mix it really good because the idea is that you don't want like patches of flour anywhere. I usually do this in the bowl, but it's probably better if you do it outside of the bowl. So if you find that you have some like really moist pieces, you can add a little more flour. Don't be shy. Okay. So.
What?
Is everybody else muted?
Not everybody, I'm not muted.
Does anyone have questions so far as what their dough is supposed to be like? Okay, so then what I do is I take it and put it in a ball, right? I usually leave it in my bowl, or I'll take a second bowl, and so I can wash this one out. But literally, you're just gonna set it at the bottom of your bowl. And for me, I add a little bit of oil on top. So what I'm doing here is I'm literally just coating it. I'm coating the top of the oil.
Wait, now I'm confused about the oil.
I'm going to show you.
Okay.
You see how I
What
do
does
that?
that do?
So that really just kind of keeps it moist as it's rising. So you have the consistency of the bread that you need, but it's going to stay moist. It's not going to dry up as it's rising. And it also keeps it from sticking to the bowl. So like that. And then all you're going to do with this is you're gonna cover it and you're gonna put it someplace dry and warm. So what I do, especially since I've been here, there's a lot of windows here, so it's pretty light. I stick it in the microwave. I don't turn it on, but it's dark and it's in a nice, so I'm gonna stick this. And I'm just gonna set it there and do nothing else with it. And I leave mine, so it depends. So Friday night I made it and I left it for maybe an hour till it rose, and we were running out of time for Shabbat. So, but on a good day, you could leave it for 2 hours. I've even left it overnight. Literally, like I've made it at night and let it rise overnight. And then I make the dough, make it in the morning. So you can't go wrong with the actual rising process in this first step.
Robin, I really like the wet towel. You mentioned something to put a wet towel on top of it. It was really.
Yeah, so I mean, you don't have to use a wet towel. You can use a dry
that worked
towel.
very nicely.
Yep, but you could just, you're supposed to like maybe take a towel that's moist, like warm, and throw it over top. Either way, the dry does work just as well, as long as you're in a spot where it's warm and like dry and it's not in the sun. It just helps it rise faster. So, questions so far? Yep. Tell me if you have questions. I'll slow down.
Did you ever start it in a warm oven?
I have. I've actually not put it in a warm oven, but at home, a lot of times I will put my oven on like 200.
Yeah.
Open the door and set my bowl on top of my oven. So it's getting some, you know what I mean? I have a thing about putting like a cloth in an oven. So I just, fire scares me. So I would rather just put it on top so it's getting the warmth without being actually in the oven. I guess it depends on how much of a rush you're in to rise it. But like I said, Friday night we did this. I stuck it in the microwave and just let it sit there for like an hour, and it rose nicely. And that was only for an hour. So you'll see from the size it is. So if you guys are ready, I will show you the next step. You guys are ready?
What now?
If you guys are ready, I'm going to show you the next step. So when it does rise, what it's going to look like and what we do with it. Is that okay?
Yep.
All right, let's do that. Hold on. I'm used to a small kitchen, so I'm a clean as you go kind of girl. All right. So this morning I made this. So it's exactly what we just made, but this is what it's going to look like once it rises. So it pretty much doubled in size. All right, I'm going to turn this down so you don't have to see me anymore. Okay. All right, so this is what it looks like. So you're literally going to take some of your flour so you don't stick, and you're going to pull this out. Okay. All right, so it's got a little bit of the oil on it, but it's still a really good consistency. And really what you want to do is you just want to start getting all the bubbles out. That's really the goal of kneading, is just to make sure you don't have any bubbles in it. Because when you have bubbles, then you're getting air instead of bread, and nobody wants that. All right. Okay, so here we go. So then we do that, and then what I do is I get a knife and I just split it in half. It's not a great knife. All right, so now you have your 2 pieces of bread dough. And you're gonna basically separate each side into 3 pieces.
Do you take a piece of the challah off where it says challah is taken?
I'm sorry?
Do you take a piece of the challah, the bread off saying that the dough saying challah is taken?
No.
No?
What about?
That's what we've always been told to do.
So you could do each one at a time, but honestly, this is the easiest part. So you can roll it, you can squeeze it, you can do whatever you want just to separate it out a little bit. Again, you want to make sure all the air bubbles are out. It doesn't have to be super thin. I kind of squeeze it to make sure there's no bubbles and then I roll it. That's just how I do it. And then you're going to do that with all 3 pieces.
My goodness. What if it doesn't want to roll out?
Well, again, just squeeze it.
Okay, mine is a little bit different. That's why. It's okay.
Well, and you can squeeze it and it'll come out the same.
Yeah.
So let me get my pan. Okay.
I have a question with the yeast, right? The reason for using is that the yeast is for the quantity.
It
Or is it
rises.
for the higher the quantity, so it's not necessarily just for the
Well, the yeast is gonna
volume.
help it rise. Yep, and it's gonna get airy. Because if it doesn't rise, it's gonna be really dense.
It's gotta be matzah.
And what about the oil?
The oil just keeps it moist, so it doesn't dry out. You don't want your dough to be dry.
Okay.
So what I do, some people start in the middle and work their way out. I start at the top. So I pinch the top. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And then I leave, the center alone because it's tough to braid. So you want it tight, but you don't want it like where the air can't get through because this is going to rise again. So,
Right.
so we're just going to braid.
That's
Okay.
beautiful.
All the way to the end. Let me get my spray.
Wow. Very
Sorry, hold
nice.
Well,
Hold on.
Mine is still too sticky to even get out of the bowl.
yeah. Add more
I'm
flour.
trying.
Add more flour.
So I
did.
spray my pan just so
Mhm.
nothing sticks. All right. So what I do here is I basically take the ends and I sort of go underneath.
Mhm.
So if you can see this, when I put it on here, I take the ends and I bundle it under. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And so what that does is it's just going to keep it from separating apart. So I'm going to do that with this one as well. So bear with me.
Oh, mess. I've got nowhere near any of that. That's okay.
Me neither. It's okay, but I'm using a
Did you
different dough.
post that recipe?
Yes.
Yes.
And Stephanie
Sesame-
can send it.
Stephanie.
Yes,
Stephanie Feynman
yeah,
posted it.
I will post it up there. I haven't personally posted it up there, but when I put the recording up there, I will ask Iris Bloom, who's the technical guru, I'll send it to her, but post it with the recording.
Thank you, Steph.
Okay. Wait a minute. My braids are a little funny.
Well, again, do it slowly, but when you have to let it rise
Yeah.
because you
I'm
can't.
still too sticky to do anything with.
Yeah, you can't do anything until it rises. So you have to wait like an hour or so.
Mine's not gonna rise.
No, mine is still too sticky. I gotta add another half a cup at least of flour, I
Yeah,
think.
you definitely want to make sure you're adding enough flour before you let it sit to rise.
Yeah.
And that's really getting to know the consistency. So that,
This is why I'm not a baker.
Me
This is
too.
why I make chocolate.
but honestly, the consistency is not too hard. You just, it's that balance between being sticky and being too dry. So that's why if you add it a little at a time,
I'm trying.
I know.
I'll have to re-roll. It's okay.
Okay, so again, with this, you're gonna put it over and put that underneath. Okay,
Oh my goodness.
so then from there,
Right.
sorry,
Ah,
I don't know what happened to my brush, but what I have done in a pinch, if you don't have a brush, is you can take a paper towel
Mm-hmm.
and you can
Dab it.
put your egg wash on.
Now, what is that? The egg wash, you just stirred up whites that you don't do?
So
anything
that's all it is. This, you don't even have to stir it up. This is the egg whites from our original eggs.
else? Okay.
And you can just, now you have to remember, this is going to rise. So when you,
A question about the egg wash. Should it go in the refrigerator while your dough is
Yes.
rising?
Yep.
Okay,
absolutely. I had this, I had my other one in the,
yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah, just so, it all is going to be healthy and good at the same time. Now, this is the point, I'm gonna do this. Hi. So this is the point where if you wanted to add sesame seeds, poppy seeds, salt on the top, this is where you would do it. The other thing is if you want to add honey to the top as a glaze, as the rabbi special, this is where you would do it. You can either brush on the honey but you want to do the egg wash. I have actually mixed in some honey with the egg wash to brush it on, but this is where you want to do that. So if you're going to make this something other than a plain challah, this is your time to do it. And then
My dough is beginning to look like dough now.
Hooray.
It's long.
when it starts to rise, I mean, it's kind of exciting, but you got to let it go.
Yeah.
You want to let it go for at least an hour. And I'm telling you, the
Ooh,
more-
Giselle, that's beautiful. Look at hers. Whoa.
Which one?
Giselle, oh, gorgeous.
I don't see her.
Yeah, I'll turn it like this.
Yeah, I'll review.
Oh, beautiful, Giselle.
let me
Oh,
say,
Look
nice.
at that. Nice.
I don't, can
I
you
say
see
I
it?
Oh,
see
roll it out.
Giselle. I don't see
Okay.
Giselle.
I can't see it.
You gotta put it on,
Oh,
on
I don't know
gallery
where my
view.
camera is.
Oh, okay. Well, if
You have
I
to have
do
a
that
gallery
now,
view
I'll
to see
probably
everybody.
ruin my computer.
No.
Let's see, hold on.
So once you put the glaze on, again, if you want to put something on top of it, you can at this point.
Giselle, let me see yours again.
I don't know how, I don't know where my camera is. I don't know how to
It's
show.
on your blouse.
Turn it upside down.
No, you had it right.
Oh,
Yeah, that's good, that's good.
very nice.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. I'm still trying to roll
I
mine.
made it 2 hours ago. I made the dough 2 hours ago.
Good. See, that's
Using
what
our
I love.
pizza dough, people.
That's
I
what I
added
love the
egg and
fact-
honey to it.
I also like your suggestion of boiling water and putting it under it. It was really helpful.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think the longer you let it sit, the nice and airy that it becomes.
Mhm.
So this is what it's gonna sit like.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And then you're gonna leave this for probably about, again, people say an hour. It doesn't, if you want to leave it for 2 hours, whatever, but an hour is, pretty standard. And it'll literally double in size. So you want to make sure your pan, there's enough room on here.
Oh, yeah.
And then once it has risen, Once it got to that point of where it has risen to where you want it to be, throw your oven on and stick it in the oven for 30 minutes. And
Great.
What temperature?
Oh,
350.
Yep. Sorry. So, yeah, it's gonna be 350 for 30 minutes.
Beautiful.
And this is what it turns out to be.
Wow,
that was quick.
beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Oh,
Nice.
yummy.
That's beautiful. And Robin's
Yummy.
colors are gorgeous.
They are
and
and delicious.
And guess what, ladies and gents? Makes fabulous French toast.
It does.
Challah French, it's the best I've ever
Yeah.
Oh,
had.
yeah.
I'm just sharing that.
And
Also, you
wonderful
could make some-
stuffing too.
Also, you could make some chocolate babka with it. Like you put
Oh,
some Nutella
ooh.
and some I made it a couple of times. It's delicious.
With
That
chocolate,
sounds
did you
really
say?
good.
With the same dough.
Wow.
You could spread on the chocolate.
And it's diet, right,
And then you
Giselle?
roll it.
Oh, that sounds fabulous. Ooh.
So when you braid it, is there an
Yeah.
easy way to braid? I'm having trouble with the braiding part.
Honestly, just do one piece at a time, Steph. So if you knot the top so it stays together,
Right. I do
and
that.
then literally just take one at a time and start moving things around. And that's how you'll get a nice tight braid. Again, don't squeeze it tight. You just need,
It
you
doesn't
know.
like me. It doesn't like me.
It's definitely always over the middle.
Left. Oh, that's what I mean. So everything over the middle,
Over
and
the
don't
middle.
move the middle at all.
Well, the middle becomes
Well,
a
you move
different
it.
piece. The middle changes as you braid it.
Steph, did your mother ever braid your hair?
Yes.
Did
Well,
you
now
ever
once I get
braid
started,
your
I
hair?
did.
It's actually, I think it's the same concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I used to braid my
I can
daughter's
remember.
hair.
I
I
can
had
remember.
You know what? I remembered what I did.
Ah,
I used
What
to
did you say,
turn the
Steph?
oven on 250 and then turn it off and then put
Oh,
it
put the-
in
Yeah.
with the oven off.
Stephanie Feynman, I missed what you said.
yes.
I used to braid my daughter's hair, but before I learned how I wanted to do a French braid, I had to buy something at CVS, and it was a little styrofoam thing that helped me keep track of all the hair as I was doing the braiding.
Oh, smart. We didn't have that in the day.
All right.
Well, this
Come
still
on, I
isn't,
had a
it
braid.
still
This
isn't
is
a great
ridiculous.
dough, but it's gonna have to do, right?
Why don't
Yeah.
Stephanie, let me see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
Stephanie,
Huh?
turn your camera so I can see what you're
I
doing.
can't see what happened. I go crazy. Mine goes
I'm
nuts
okay now.
sometimes and I
Okay.
lose it.
I
Hold
think I
on.
got it now. I gotta put it down. Hold on.
You didn't give it enough time, Arlene.
Huh?
Oh.
Yeah, can you see it?
It's not enough time.
No, mine,
It looks good.
It's
I don't know how
good.
you see it, but I don't see anything and it looks like hell. Pardon me. It looks,
Arlene, did you let it sit?
not yet. I haven't had a chance. It hasn't even gotten into dough yet.
Oh, I was gonna say, don't grate it yet.
I'm not braiding it. I'm just trying to get it.
We're just trying to get it together.
You have to
I'm
be
just throwing
patient.
it down there and I'll put
It's
some
much
dough.
better.
I'm not doing any, I'm not
Process.
doing the braiding. He's sitting there waiting and sniffing and it's not there.
It takes time.
So does anyone have questions about any of it?
Yeah, how long does
Thank
it
you
take to
so-
get back on without nicely?
Just have fun
Thank you
with it.
so much. It was
Yeah,
fun.
really. Thank you.
Thank
nice.
you.
That's
I've been
great.
wanting to do
Anyway.
challah from home. I've done challah with groups, but never in my own home
Right.
Yeah,
here in
I've
North.
never done it
So
either.
this is extremely special. And Jack
Yes.
has been my right-hand man the whole
Thank you,
time.
Robin.
Jack,
Hi,
You're
Robin.
welcome, Jack.
And he knows the challah and the challah French toast, so we're motivated.
Oh, I do the
Very
challah
nice.
French toast all the time. I buy the challah.
yeah.
All right, now I'm supposed to put a little bit of oil on the top of this
Okay.
dough, right? And then it's sitting.
Stephanie, we can't hear you.
Stephanie Feynman, I can't hear you.
We can't hear you at all, Stephanie Feynman.
you can't hear me at all?
No,
Yeah.
I just see your arms
Yeah, we
moving.
can. We
Okay.
didn't hear you just now.
Okay, I just
We
wanted to
haven't
thank everyone.
followed till tomorrow, Danny.
And I wanted to remind everybody, next Sunday at 2, we're gonna do matzo ball soup with Mary Spassky and Allison Rubin. Yes.
Yes.
On March 14th, you should be seeing something coming out from the temple about this week. On March 14th, Cooking with High is going to get together once a month. After March, it's going to be every first Sunday of the month that we're going to do this. We're going to get together and cook casseroles for our daily bread.
Yes.
Okay.
So, another chance to schmooze and get together and connect. And, you know, it's always funner with company than it is doing it on your own. So
Absolutely.
that's what
Agreed.
we're gonna do. So continue, everybody go chaos.
Can we just go back a little bit, just for a question? I'm supposed to put oil on the top and cover it up now, right?
Yes, so just drizzle a little oil. I'm gonna sit.
Okay,
Drizzle a little oil on the top and smear it.
okay.
And put a little underneath also, just to keep it from sticking.
Too late, okay.
Put it the whole pan,
Flip it over.
Just a little bit. You don't want to soak it. You just want to glaze it.
Okay, well, then you put a little bit.
It's gonna be a
underneath.
little flat, but it's okay. It does not have any yeast in it, but it's okay. We're just trying it out, so it's all right.
So in the time, I'm going to check mine. Hold on 1 second.
Try and get comfortable with the dough.
I did it with that, Steph, and it didn't rise, but it makes
Yeah.
like a roll.
Yeah, I'm eating my dough. I'm eating my dough.
So
Okay.
this is what I made. It's still in the process of rising, but it has moved.
Nice.
It has grown. Just since we started that.
I've been afraid to try it, so now that I see how it is, I'm gonna try it for real. That'll be good.
What would make it not rise?
Not using yeast.
So if that's why we proof the yeast at the beginning to
Right.
make sure it bubbles and gets that coating on it.
Okay.
If the yeast does not activate at all or do anything like that, then it's not going to rise.
Well, I
Okay.
already started, like I said, with the second dough, so we're hoping that that's gonna do it. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna leave it in the microwave.
that's one of the reasons why we activate it, because I have, again, tried and true. I have tested it many times before I knew to proof the yeast, and I was like, I couldn't figure out why my dough was so dense, and this is why. And plus, I told you at one point I was making the water too hot, so it was killing the yeast. So this is what I have learned
Well, thank
on my
you.
path.
I appreciate that because it's happened where it wouldn't rise.
Yeah.
I said my daughter made one of these at Thanksgiving, and she did it with, she took dried figs and she put them in the blender, and she
In the
added
bread?
something to it.
In the
Figs.
bread.
She ground them up in the blender, and she ended
Uh-huh.
up making it a paste, and she put that in between, along the edges, and so you had the figs in there.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
delicious.
I mean, I'm
That's
sure there's
good.
a lot more creative things you can do with this. This
Mhm.
is just what I do with it.
You know, you can make pizza dough with that too. It's really.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Really good.
So now when we're back when we get back to normal services, you guys can all take turns making challah for the oneg.
And we don't even have to make it vegan. I don't
Yeah. No, vegetarian.
think-
'Cause she-
Vegetarian, I'm sorry.
yeah, she's not vegan. She's
No,
vegetarian.
Gary, you're on
Water.
mute.
They only
We
had. the
can't hear
quick
you, Gary.
yeast. I never heard of quick yeast, did you?
Heard of what?
Oh, that's
Quick
better.
yeast. The packages,
I've
that's
seen
all I
it.
could find.
But this, I like this one. I got it at, you can get it at any grocery store and most of the time it's not refrigerated. It's just in the baking
Yeah.
oven.
Richmond was
They might have it now. That was years ago, and I tried it. Nothing happened. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay.
You can find all different kinds
Oh
in
my
the
goodness.
baking aisle.
Okay, come on, you braid.
I need one without a lot of calories, though. Do we have that?
I think the honey's gonna be better than the sugar. That's
Yeah.
my.
Look how it's growing.
That's really nice. I like that. I never would have thought of that.
We have local, mid-Atlantic honey, unfiltered. It's fabulous.
I have sugar-free imitation honey, and it's very good.
It's genuine imitation.
No, no, no.
Genuine imitation honey.
imitation.
Oh, you need the bees to make honey, I'm sorry.
Well, the bees made this honey, it just doesn't have sugar in it.
I
Or
know
has some
it's
sugar.
sugar-free honey.
Right.
How can it not?
Well, I think it is. It's different. It's just different. It's artificial, that's why.
Robin, should I keep my egg whites refrigerated until I
Yes.
get around to doing everything? Okay.
Yep, I would put it in the refrigerator until we're ready to brush it
For
on.
me, it probably won't be till tomorrow.
I'm just gonna bake mine the way they are. See what
You ever
happens.
make it with the raisins?
Steph, I'd leave it for a little bit and see if it rises.
Mine won't rise because it doesn't have any yeast in it.
Oh, gotcha.
It may be a long
It's
time.
self-rising though.
Yeah,
So,
Oh,
but I have self-rising
didn't have-
dough.
so
you didn't have
guys,
any yeast?
I want you to meet, this is
No,
my cousin
it's okay.
Andy. from
I could
Israel.
have given you some.
Guys,
We didn't hear you.
this is my cousin Andy from Israel.
Hi, Andy.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hello, Malechem.
Let them
Lechem
come
shalom.
out.
He's the official taster and Challah.
Smells great.
You need a stick of butter with that though.
Okay, we had this challah Friday night, some parov margarine on it, vegetable margarine. Really delicious.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very happy to try it again and see if this one is.
You can be a taste tester.
I'm glad you pulled it. It's like sacrilege when you cut it.
Yeah, I like it pulled as well.
Bye, thank you.
Mm.
Great job, Robin.
Everybody.
How long were you
Thank
here
you.
for?
You have to hold it down so it doesn't float away.
Yeah.
Are you saying it's that dense? Wait, or that light?
He's applying for the job of your promotion.
Robin, keep baking. Your cousin wants to taste.
Thank you.
How long are you here for?
For a little while, actually. I'm visiting my family.
Nice.
Joy.
Very
What
nice.
Enjoy.
city? What city do you live in?
Poughkeepsie, New York.
Oh, no.
Oh, in Israel.
No, no, it isn't.
In Israel, I live in Efrat, in Gush Etzion.
My cousins are from Israel. I have Israeli cousins.
Very
Enjoy
nice.
your stay.
Soon I will. Yes.
Thank
enjoy.
you.
And obviously, she's gonna make sure you're fed well.
We're going to have lots of challah.
It's fantastic. Thank you so much, Robin.
Does that freeze well?
Thank you.
It does. It actually does. But make sure you're wrapping it in plastic. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to just put tin foil. You maybe want to slice it and put it in a freezer baggie.
Mhm.
Can
Robin,
you let it set for a while, or you can do it while it's fresh?
Well, I'd let it cool a little bit before you freeze it.
But I mean, it doesn't have to stay out for an hour or two to get some of the moisture out of it.
No, you should be okay. I just like
Okay.
I said, I would cool it just a little bit.
Yeah.
excuse me, Robin?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Oh, good. This is Marty Shapiro.
Hi,
Did a great job.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
On the two challahs you put one on top. Did you ever put one on top of the other?
I haven't.
Bake it that way? I wondered if then it would, real big one. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if the bottom one would rise though, if there was that much
Double decker.
weight.
Yeah, that's what I
You
was.
know what? If you use
It would
that to
take
make one,
forever to bake.
Robin, if you use that recipe to make one,
Yeah.
you would have a big challah like we used to get at the
Oh, yeah.
bakery.
Oh,
And this
yeah.
actually, if you let it rise, like just leave it for a couple of hours,
Okay.
they get like this. Like when I made these at home, they were huge.
Good.
Really?
Yeah, this was from leaving it for an hour, but if you left it for like 2 hours, it would get twice as big.
Wow,
It's
good.
Oh, so it's just as moist and just the same.
nice and airy, really good. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
And you don't need to cover it. Like the first time you cover it, but now just leave it out.
Oh, okay, that's-
And let it-
Thank you so much.
Sorry, I missed
Toda
all
rabah.
the visuals.
Thank you so much.
You.
Robin, thank you
you.
again.
It was good seeing everybody.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you,
Thank
Stephanie
you.
Thank you.
Lyman.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you,
us.
Stephanie,
Thank you,
for
Robin.
arranging it.
How long do we
Nice
make
seeing
it for?
everyone.
How long
30
do we-
minutes.
30 minutes. Okay.
Marty, how's your
Sounds good.
challah?
30 minutes on 350.
Okay. Perfect.
All right.
Thank you so much. Mwah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Everybody, see you guys later.